Somebody just accidentally showed the world a drone that DJI has not officially announced. No press release, no teaser campaign, no carefully staged keynote. Just a guy flying an unidentified prototype in a public park, captured on camera and uploaded to the internet. And within hours, the drone community lost its collective mind. Now here is what I want you to understand before we go any further. Most of the coverage you have seen so far has focused on the wrong things. The Reddit threads are arguing about the name. The comment sections are full of speculation. But buried inside this footage, in the details almost every major outlet completely missed, is the real story. And by the end of this video, you will know exactly what this drone is, why it matters more than people realize, and what DJI absolutely has to get right to make it worth your money. Stay with me. This one is going to surprise you. Why this footage is legitimate. Before we analyze a single frame, let's talk about why this footage is worth your time at all. Because in the world of drone leaks, not everything that looks like a prototype actually is one. There are hobbyists, modders, and clever builders who can make a custom drone look convincing enough to fool a casual viewer. But Igor Bogdanov is not a random guy with a glue gun. He is a known figure in the European drone testing and review community, someone with legitimate access to early-stage hardware. And more importantly, the setup he was using tells a story all on its own. This was not a casual Sunday flight to get some sunset shots. There was a laptop actively running on the ground beside him, a full power station to keep everything charged during extended sessions, multiple battery cycling. This is what a proper professional field data collection session looks like. This is what companies pay testers to do when they need real-world performance data on hardware that is not ready for the public yet. So when I say this footage is credible, I do not mean I am 100% certain of what the drone is. I mean, the drone itself is almost certainly real. It is almost certainly a DJI product in some stage of development, and the details it reveals are genuinely worth studying. Now, let's get into what I actually found. Breaking down the footage frame by frame. Alright, let's do what the internet mostly failed to do. Let's actually look at this thing carefully. The propeller guards first. The single most revealing element of any DJI drone is the propeller guard design, because DJI has been incredibly consistent in how it designs guards for different product families. The Avatar series, which includes the brand new Avatar 360, uses deep, solid ducted guards that are optimized for aerodynamic thrust. They are built for FPV performance, for cinematic speed, for pilots who want punch and precision over portability. You can recognize an Avatar drone from across a field. The guards on this prototype are completely different. They are wide, thin, and symmetrical, open grille style, lightweight by design. And if you have ever held a Neo 2 in your hands, you will immediately recognize the philosophy behind them. Consumer-friendly, palm-safe, weight-conscious. These are not FPV guards. These are hand this to your mom and tell her to try it guards. That alone tells me we are firmly in Neo family territory, not Avatar territory. The size question. Multiple sharp-eyed viewers noted that this drone looks slightly bigger than the Neo 2. Not dramatically so, but noticeably. One viewer compared the silhouette to the Hover Air X1, which is a genuinely interesting observation because the Hover Air carved out its own niche as a self-flying follow camera. If DJI has been studying that product's success, and you can absolutely be sure they have, evolving the Neo design toward a slightly larger form factor that still stays under 250 grams would make complete strategic sense. But the battery detail, nobody is talking about. Here is the one that stopped me cold when I spotted it. When the tester picks the drone up during the session, you can clearly see a charging hub on the ground beside the power station, and inside that hub, what appear to be Neo 2 batteries. Not a new format, not a redesigned cell. The same battery you already own if you bought a Neo 2. Now that could mean two very different things. It might mean DJI made a deliberate decision to keep backward compatibility, to let Neo 2 owners use their existing batteries in the Neo 3, which would be a genuinely smart consumer move. Or it might mean that this is still early enough in development that they were simply using what was available. Either way, it sets a ceiling on how dramatically the power system can be redesigned. And that ceiling matters a lot when battery life is the #1 complaint from Neo 2 owners. The controller, nobody expected. And then there is this. At least one viewer in the comments identified what looks like a Radio Master pocket controller being used during testing. Not a DJI RC2, not a DJI RC-NY. Gen 1, a third-party controller. Now, DJI testing with third-party hardware is not something you see in consumer product development. It suggests either an extended compatibility test, an openness to third-party integration that the Neo 2 never had, or simply that the tester grabbed what was available. But it is worth flagging because if DJI is seriously exploring non-proprietary controller support for the Neo 3, that would be a significant shift in their approach. What could this actually be? So, what are we actually looking at? Let me give you the 3 honest possibilities and tell you exactly why I believe each of them is more or less likely. Possibility 1. The DJI Neo 3. This is my primary read, and I want to lay out every reason why before I move on. The prop guard design language belongs to the Neo family. I've already explained that. The size is consistent with a modest generational upgrade, not a platform overhaul. The testing timeline makes complete sense. The original Neo launched in September 2024. The Neo 2 followed in November 2025, and DJI's internal development cycles are significantly faster than most people realize. By April 2026, and having the Neo 3 in active field testing is not just plausible. It is almost expected if you understand how they operate. Add the possible backward-compatible batteries, add the consumer-friendly form factor, and every data point in this footage pulls in the same direction. Possibility 2. The DJI Avatar 3. I want to give this a fair hearing because some people in the community are genuinely convinced by it. But here's the problem. The Avatar 360 only just launched. DJI does not release successor products into a market where the predecessor has not had time to breathe. Historically, the Avatar line has received updates on a roughly 18 to 24-month cycle. Putting Avatar 3 in field testing in April 2026 would mean a launch window that directly cannibalizes Avatar 360 sales before that product has established itself. On Beyond the Business Case, the prop guard design simply does not match Avatar DNA. The Avatar series has a very specific aesthetic and engineering signature. This is not it. Possibility 3. Something nobody has predicted yet. A handful of commenters floated this idea. Could this be a DJI Flip 2? Could it be the Leo series? Could it be an entirely new product line? And honestly, I want to honor this possibility rather than dismiss it outright, because DJI has surprised us before. The Flip was a genuinely unexpected product when it launched. But here's the thing. The Flip had a very specific folding form factor that made it instantly recognizable. The Leo drones operate on a completely different design philosophy, aimed at professional use cases, and the prototype in this footage does not cleanly match either. It reads most naturally as a Neo evolution, but I will not pretend to be 100% certain because nobody outside DJI actually is. My verdict: Neo 3 in early field testing, and everything that follows in this video is built on that reading. The case for Neo 3. Let's talk about timing, because I think this is one of the most underappreciated parts of the story. The original DJI Neo launched in September 2024. At the time, a lot of people in the drone community did not quite know what to make of it. It was lighter than anything DJI had produced in the consumer segment. It had no controller in the box. It launched from your palm and landed on your palm. Some reviewers called it a toy. Some called it the future. Turns out it was the future, or at least a very profitable slice of it. The Neo 2 arrived in November 2025, just 14 months later. DJI moved fast because the category was proving itself. The Neo 2 fixed some things: better tracking, improved obstacle sensing, a more refined camera, and it sold extraordinarily well. It became one of DJI's most commercially successful consumer drones in recent memory, not because it was their most technically impressive product, but because it was their most accessible. It met people where they were: non-pilots, casual creators, travelers, people who wanted great footage without the learning curve. Now here is where the math gets interesting. If the Neo 2 launched in November 2025 and DJI's internal development cycle runs at the pace we have seen, a Neo 3 entering field testing by April 2026 is right on schedule. That puts a potential announcement window somewhere in the second half of 2026, likely Q3 or Q4, following DJI's pattern of launching consumer products before the holiday season. And if that is the timeline they are on, this footage is exactly the kind of thing you would expect to see leaking out right now. Early, rough, unofficial, but real. What the Neo 2 became. To understand what the Neo 3 needs to be, you first have to understand what the Neo 2 actually became in the real world. Not what the spec sheet said, not what the YouTube reviews measured on a test bench in a studio. What real people actually did with it every day. The Neo 2 went places that bigger, more capable drones could not justify. Think about a solo creator. No partner, no assistant, no second person to hold a controller. Before the Neo 2, that person either spent a fortune on a professional follow system or settled for static shots from a tripod. The Neo 2 changed that equation entirely. Launch from your palm, set a tracking mode, get the shot, land on your hand, done. That is a fundamentally different creative capability, delivered in 151 grams. People used it on mountain bikes, on electric scooters, on trail runs, on kayaks. Travelers packed it in carry-on bags without a second thought. Parents filmed their kids at sports events without managing a controller. Content creators who had never touched a drone in their lives got usable, genuinely good footage within 5 minutes of opening the box. That is not a minor achievement. And that is a product that genuinely changed how a large group of people make video. And that is exactly why the Neo 3 carries such high stakes. When you have a product that resonates this deeply with this many people, the next version is not just a feature update. It is a promise. The promise that DJI heard what people loved, heard what frustrated them, and came back with something better. The question is whether they actually deliver on that. The honest problems DJI needs to fix. Let's be honest about the Neo 2, because DJI is not going to be. They are very good at marketing, and the Neo 2's marketing was excellent, but excellent marketing does not fix real-world frustrations, and the Neo 2 had several. Battery life, the biggest lie in the box. By DJI advertised approximately 18 to 19 minutes of flight time for the Neo 2. On paper, that is competitive for the class. In real active flying conditions, tracking, maneuvering, running obstacle avoidance, using any of the intelligent modes, most users reported 10 to 12 minutes of actual usable flight. That is a gap of almost 40% between the advertised figure and the real-world experience. That gap is not unique to DJI. It is an industry-wide issue with how flight time is measured, but it is uniquely frustrating for a drone in this category, where spontaneous use is the whole point. You do not want to land and wait for a battery swap when you are chasing your kid down a hiking trail. The community's wish is clear: 20 to 25 minutes of real active flight time, not advertised time, not hover in still air time, real, moving, tracking, obstacle-avoiding flight. If the Neo 3 can get there, that single improvement alone would justify the upgrade for most current Neo 2 owners. The camera, good, but not good enough anymore. The Neo 2's camera was respectable for its price and size class when it launched, but the Mini 4 Pro exists. The DJI Osmo Action 5 Pro exists. The bar for what consumers expect from a compact imaging device has moved significantly, and the Neo 2's camera is starting to show its age even within DJI's own lineup. A sensor in the 1/1.3-inch class, similar to what the Mini 4 Pro uses, would meaningfully close the quality gap between the Neo and the Mini series. Better low-light performance would address the single most consistent criticism of Neo 2 footage, and genuine 4K 120 frames per second slow motion, not a digital crop, not a downsampled simulation, but real high frame rate capture, would make the Neo 3 a serious tool for action sports content, which is exactly the audience that already loves this drone. Speed and tracking performance. Not fast enough for fast subjects. The Neo 2's tracking modes are impressive for casual use. Walking pace, cycling pace, moderate jogging. It handles all of those well. But push it into genuinely high-speed territory, motocross, downhill mountain biking, off-road vehicles, and it starts to struggle. The motors simply do not have the punch needed to keep up with fast-moving subjects in dynamic environments, and the tracking algorithms can lose their target when it moves unpredictably. Multiple users who specifically bought the Neo 2 for high-speed tracking content ended up frustrated by this limitation. Better motors, specifically a step up in class that does not blow the weight budget, would make a meaningful difference here. Remote ID, the awkward module problem. This one is less glamorous than camera specs, but it is going to matter more and more as drone regulations tighten globally. The Neo 2's approach to remote ID, a bulky add-on module that clips to the drone and adds both weight and visual awkwardness, is genuinely not good enough for a product positioned as a premium consumer device. Every major market is moving toward mandatory remote ID requirements. Building it directly into the Neo 3's hardware is not optional for DJI at this point. It is a table stakes requirement. Obstacle avoidance, impressive demo, complicated reality. The Neo 2's omnidirectional obstacle avoidance sounds incredible in a marketing video. In practice, it works well in open, controlled environments and becomes genuinely unreliable in tighter, more complex spaces, dense forests, urban environments, indoor spaces with inconsistent lighting. The result is that many users simply turn it off and fly manually in any situation where the environment gets complicated, which somewhat defeats the point of the feature. Improved sensing reliability, particularly in challenging lighting conditions, would make the autonomous modes something users actually trust rather than something they use for demos. Neo 3. Win the market. Let's paint the picture. Not what I think the Neo 3 will be. What it needs to be to live up to what the Neo 2 became and to genuinely move the category forward. It needs to stay under 250 grams. That is not optional. The regulatory advantages of the sub-250 class, lighter requirements in most markets, greater access to airspace, easier travel, are a core part of the Neo product identity. The moment DJI crosses that threshold, they change the entire relationship between the drone and its audience. They can have a slightly larger footprint. They can change the form factor. But the mass budget is non-negotiable. It needs 20+ minutes of real flight time. I said it in the battery section, and I will say it again here, because it is genuinely the single most important improvement DJI can make. The gap between advertised and real-world battery performance destroyed goodwill among Neo 2 owners faster than any other issue. Fix the battery. Fix the relationship with the customer. It needs a proper camera upgrade, not an incremental bump. Body a meaningful generational step toward mini-class image quality in a Neo-class body. The audience for this drone is content creators who care about how their footage looks. They are comparing it to footage from their phone, from their GoPro, from the Action 5 Pro. The Neo 3 needs to win that comparison more confidently than the Neo 2 did. It needs better tracking at speed. The follow camera drone niche is only going to grow. The Hover Air X1 has proven the demand is real. If DJI wants to own that space, and they absolutely should, the Neo 3 needs to reliably track subjects moving at speeds the Neo 2 could not handle, and it needs to integrate remote ID cleanly. No modules, no add-ons, no compromises. If DJI delivers on all 5 of those points, in a package that stays accessible, stays approachable, and keeps the Palm launch magic that made people fall in love with this product line, the Neo 3 will be one of the most important consumer drone launches in years. Not because of raw specs, because of how many people it will give access to genuinely great aerial footage for the first time. And that has always been what the Neo series was actually about. Final verdict. So here is where I land after going through every frame of this footage and spending real time with the community's analysis. This is the DJI Neo 3, early field testing, probably 6 to 9 months from a public announcement. The prop guards tell the story, the size tells the story, the battery compatibility question tells the story, the testing timeline tells the story. And everything in this footage points in the same direction, and that direction is the next generation of one of DJI's most important consumer products. What the Neo 3 needs to be is not complicated. It is just genuinely difficult to execute at this price point and weight class. Fix the battery gap, upgrade the camera, improve tracking speed, build in remote ID, keep it light, keep it accessible, keep the thing that makes someone hand it to a complete beginner and watch them get great footage within 5 minutes. If DJI gets that right, the Neo 3 does not just win the affordable drone market. It makes the competition look like they are playing a different game entirely. I will be covering every detail that surfaces on this drone the moment anything new drops. Subscribe and hit the bell right now, because when the next leak happens, you do not want to be the person catching up 2 days later. And here is the question I genuinely want your answer to. Not because it is a generic comment prompt, but because it will actually shape what I cover next. If you could only fix one thing about the Neo 2, what would it be? Battery life, camera, speed, or something else entirely? Drop it below. The most common answer in the comments is going to decide what I deep dive into next. So let's see what the community actually cares about most. This story is just getting started, and I promise the next update is going to be even bigger than this one.